We were talking something before about like we were talking about the previous slate of games and like how much the 4 o'clock games are way more thrilling than the 1 o'clock games, and you have a theory about this.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about it because I've noticed that the last couple of weeks been some bar fights at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest issue that us fans have had with red zone and the way games are slated? Why do they give us 9 games at 1 o'clock and then they'll give us 2? Well, at 4 o'clock. Well, now what they're doing is they give us 3-4 games, but they're putting those like Rams Packers, Chiefs Cowboys,
Game of the week.
Bucks. They're giving us the better games in the afternoon. So it's like, all right, you have 7-8 games at 1 o'clock, but the games that are going to matter, Rams Cardinals, Bucks Rams, we're going to put them in the afternoon window. So yeah, it's less, but it's also more.
Right. But those games are delivering too. And then you have the second tier game, like Minnesota, San Francisco. Those are two teams that are totally unpredictable, and yet they put together a really thrilling game.
Yeah,
a very disappointing game if you own Dalvin Cook and Deebo Samuel, but shut a tear for that.
You must have been riding high and then just plummeted.
Literally back-to-back plays I got injured. I'm like, all right, well, it was a good run.
Yeah, my buddy Chris, shout out to Chris. He's been on the show a bunch. We call him Agent Chris. He comes on for NBA stuff. He sends me his team every week, and I think he's like, I don't know, say 5-6 in fantasy or 5-7, whatever it might be. He's second in the league in points for, but he has the most points against them by like 250 points. I tell him, I'm like, dude, send me the team that you're playing so I can play them in the Millie Maker. Because if they're going off, he's ran into Jonathan Taylor. He played Austin Eckler. He played Leonard Fournette this past week. So he actually played against Taylor and Eckler on the same team.
Like, you don't want to get mad about these things because it's just so unpredictable, but it's impossible not to get mad. It's like, dude, what on, like... Because it's competitive. Like, fantasy could really bring the competitiveness out of you where you become bitter as hell. You don't want it to ruin your watch experience, but it's just like you should be delivering. And it's like you look at the stands. It's like, I'm not even gonna make the playoffs.
What would you change in fantasy football if you were running all of fantasy football? Is there a change that you would make?
Oh, that's a good. Oh, I wish I prepared for this. Off the top.
You want me to give you mine while you think about it? Just because
I still think we could. I wish there was a way to figure out. Like, I guess the waiver wire it's somewhat fixed now because you have the $100. Like, you could pay
like
to put
Fab.
bids. Yeah, like I like Fab. I think Fab's definitely.
Well, you should do Fab and you should do rotational waivers.
Yeah.
Meaning, after week 1, if my team puts up 14 points and I have the worst team, I have the top waiver.
Yeah.
Until I use that top waiver, I'm still the top waiver. We messed up one time. We had the league, and I was commissioner, so I messed this up, putting blame on myself, where Espo was 0-6 in our fantasy league. This is a competitive league. It's a $300 league. And remember that one year where, like, Matt Forte went down, Eddie Lacy went down, and then this
has to be like 2012, 2013.
But then it was like James Starks.
Okay.
And Jeremy Langford were coming in, and there was a stretch of like all the first and second round running backs went down.
Kind of like right now.
And then the backups, Espo's picking them up off waivers because he has the top waiver every week. Before you know it, he's 6-6.
Wow.
And it's like, yo, his entire lineup is everyone's starting running back
He's
backup.
just feasted on him.
So the best way to do it is Fab, which I think if I was to do a fantasy league next year, because I didn't do one this year, I would definitely do Fab. You have to bid for guys.
Right.
That's the best way. Yeah. Or, at worst, it has to be a rotational waiver.
Exactly.
Because you can't reward your team being trash.
But other than that, like, I don't know what else I could think about when it comes to fantasy that would change. Like, well, like, I think we kind of just understand the format. We just play it. What would you do?
I would get rid of defense. Completely.
I could see why, because it's so unpredictable. Like, it's so volatile.
It's so, like,
But I like the unpredictableness, though.
Dude.
Like, people want to get rid of kickers. I'm like, man, look, can we just enjoy those positions? They're total wild cards, which kind of makes it fun. But then you lose because of it. So.
No, but there is also some strategy to kickers. Like, anytime I would play fantasy, one thing I really liked doing was whoever my quarterback was, I tried to get his kicker.
Oh, okay.
If the drive stalls, they settle for field goals, at least my offense still produces. I still get points out of it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, it could be like, yo, if you have a kicker like, well, Butker's a bad one because Butker's like solid. Like when I think of Harrison Butker, I think 9 points.
Yeah.
Right. But that's one of my strategies. I like taking kickers in domes, especially this time of the year. I don't need to worry about live in Chicago we have wind spiraling from the north end.
Like if you're a Mason, I don't know how you could be a Mason Crosby owner.
Yeah,
right?
Shit,
it's bad enough. It's bad enough.
God. But then think about it, right? Like, what happens if your team scores 6 touchdowns?
Right.
And then you get 6 points off that. It could be
deflated, yeah. I think Greg Zuerlein I had for a bid, and he would do that. Yeah.
The best kickers are always, like, Dolphins.
Oh, Jason Sanders was crazy last year.
Yeah. Aldrich Rosas, too, with the Giants that 1 year.
So you get rid of defenses because it's just too unpredictable and...
Bro, it's crazy, dude. Like... A team scores a touchdown, your defense loses 7 points right off the bat. What happens if they don't give up any other points?
Or if they don't get sacks or force a turnover.
It's just like, I just lost 7 points just because I gave up 1 touchdown.
You're making a good case.
It's too volatile is the best way to explain it, man. Especially like when I play daily fantasy, it's like, I'll pay $4,900, which is very expensive for a defense, and it's like Bucks Dolphins. I'll take the Bucks at home. Yeah, they'll crush them. And then Miami hangs 30 on them, and it's like -2. You're like, what the hell? It's just too much, man. And then you'll have like Jaguars, Bills, and the Jaguars get 9 sacks and turnovers. You're like, what is?
Or like the Bengals, they were the low. I think they were the lowest salary on DK, and like, look what they did.
Yeah, they broke the slate.
I had a feeling, man. You got to target the Steelers. We're gonna get into Steelers, but man, Steelers,
dude, crazy, man.